Hi, my name is Amber Pounds. This is for Fall 2016 Holistic Health class. And in Holistic Health, we learned about 7 pillars of wellness, which was basically the idea that there are 7 separate fundamental pieces in our lives that establish total wellness. In other words, a whole person is not parts. So also reiterated by Dr. Jennifer Hunter in her studies. So the 7 pillars of wellness I've chosen to illustrate in this collage, which I'll explain as we go through each part, are familial, social, physical, mental, vocational, financial, and spiritual. And you'll see as we kind of go through this, not only in my life, but really in anybody's life, all of those elements kind of tie in together into total happiness and total wellness. So we'll start with familial. On my board, obviously the area here that says family, super important in my life. It kind of ties everything in together. This is my mother and my father, and my nephew and my niece, my brother, my sister-in-law. This is us playing at an event last year for my grandmother. Music is a big part of my family. This is my grandmother and my mother over here. And so just kind of a little bit of a tie-in of my family history. My grandmother's German, so our heritage is German, and I chose to learn German in middle school. And it was only my grandmother and I that were able to speak German together, so it was really kind of a special bond that we shared. So that is kind of our family roots. I did have a chance to go to Germany for my 30th birthday and kind of experience a little bit of the culture and the family history. A little bit of the roots with mom and dad, praise and worship leaders in church. So church was a big part of my upbringing for my brother and I. And I have a lot of memories of music in church, being a part of the church community, camping, fishing, outdoors family. And according to DeMartini from the Values Factor, he states that you'll live according to your highest values, and I really feel like my mother and my father did a pretty good job of instilling that kind of core concept in our family. We were all about holidays, family time, and dad's an engineer, so he always had some really interesting science projects. We had an upside-down Christmas tree one year that was on a rotating base. The entire tree, the point of the tree was down, and just stuff that made our family unique, as each family has. I'm very blessed and very fortunate to have been a part of that kind of upbringing. In addition to the next generation, my nieces and my nephews, my younger cousins, it's just an exciting thing to be a part of. Just a quick quote from Lee Lakocha. He says, "The only rock I know that stays steady, the only institution I know that works is the family." And Mother Teresa once said, "What can you do to promote world peace? Go home and love your family." So obviously that's a super important aspect. Social commitments and social engagement. And I really believe that when we look outside of ourselves, rather than this constant process of self-discovery, when we contribute to something that's greater than ourselves and we contribute to the general good of others, that's really where we find our identity and our purpose in life, and that is through socializing. For me, that's been travel. I've had a lot of travel. I got to go to South America and do a mission trip where we provided glasses and eye exams for over 14,000 people in a week. I also got to go for fun, as I told you, to Germany, Switzerland, Austria, and got to do a little bit of outdoor playground type stuff there as well. I've kind of torn my heart between Florida and Colorado. Born and raised in Texas, but I have split my time living between Colorado, where my family, which is very dear to me, is at, and also Florida. Love of the ocean is one of my greatest desires in life. I do want to retire one day at the beach. But back to that music. Music has been a fundamental part of both my family and my friendships that I build. A lot of my friends are musicians. I've had a lot of interaction with music. It's been very cool. I've been very fortunate to experience a lot of things that most people my age have not. I've got a couple pictures down here. This is me with the band Shinedown from Jacksonville, Florida, if any of you know them. Here's me and Butch Walker over here. One of my heroes, Ed Roland of Collective Soul. Just some cool people I've had a chance to hang out with. I met Brandon Heath. Some neat interactions in the music business as well. So that aspects of social involvement, definitely very important to me, in addition to volunteering and involvement with the church community. I don't believe that Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, are genuine forms of connection. I really do feel like true connection is in face-to-face interaction, and this is how we grow. I heard a quote one time that said, "No child remembers his best day of TV." So true. Engaging in serving others improves happiness, and I do think that this is a critical element. Moving on to physical well-being. This guy down here is going to be my physical well-being. Oh, I'm sorry, my apologies. This is my physical well-being. You'll see there's fruit attached to it. I have a reputation for being a vegetarian. I'm very active. I had 2 gym memberships at one point. It's kind of a sickness. So you'll see that this is my idea of physical well-being, is the way that we treat our bodies. The Bible tells us that our bodies are our temple, so we're instructed to take care of it, and then we can use it properly for our true purpose. So I believe that starts with what goes into our bodies. I'm very passionate about health and nutrition, and you'll see a little cooking spoon here. I like to cook. I love to eat healthy. I like to prepare all natural, organic, vegetarian meals that I could fool any meat eater into eating. So, physical well-being, active lifestyle, hanging out outside. Wholeness in body is necessary for wholeness in your family, for your spirituality, for your mind. It all begins with your physical body. And it's also a good form of stress relief. When you exercise, when you take care of yourself, it's a good way to just kind of compound everything into working together. Biggest issue I had in this class was our chapter on sleep. I don't do well in that area. I have to say I average about 5 hours of sleep, and I really have no excuse. I have no children. I just don't sleep. So what I took out of this class was how important sleep is to our overall health. It's extremely critical to functioning physically. And I have a quote from Buddha. To keep the body in good health is a duty, otherwise we shall not be able to keep our mind strong and clear. And Thomas Fuller, another good quote, health is not valued until sickness comes. 1 Corinthians 10:31, this is one of my favorites. Whether, therefore, you eat or drink, whatever you do all to the glory of God. And I believe that starts with, again, taking care of our physical bodies in order to be well. Moving on to mental. Mental is this area here. You'll see a little sleeping bag. I've got a seashell, a campfire. Here's a picture of me backpacking with my 40-liter pack and jumping off of a waterfall, a pine cone, some beach sand. I truly believe that engaging in hobbies and engaging in things that bring you to rest in a society where we are very busy is the key to mental wellness. Also, family history of anxiety, recognizing limitation and utilizing stress elimination techniques to overcome these kind of things has been about a 5-year struggle for me. I can't say that I'm completely great at it, but I've engaged in things like deep breathing, yoga, guided imagery, all things that we've spoken about in this class. Just activities we enjoy. For me, that's nature, the beach, hiking, camping. I have a dream to hike the Appalachian Trail one day. When you're able to keep yourself, as we spoke about before, physically healthy, you can engage in these activities that make you mentally healthy. Writing music is another one for me. Edmund Hillary said, "It's not the mountain that we conquer, but ourselves." I love that quote. It's one of my favorites. I also believe that in the absence of challenge, mentally, we don't grow. So a lot of these activities are physically challenging, but also they make us face our fears. And in facing our fears, we're able to be mentally well and to grow. Another one of my most favorite famous quotes is, "Not all who wander are lost." So you go out in the middle of the woods, and it's kind of a way to recenter yourself mentally, and I'm the kind of person where moving helps me go through my thoughts. I'm not somebody who functions well in stillness. So my way to be mentally well is to be able to get out there, get moving, get outdoors, and I think that everybody needs to find that aspect of their mental wellness in order to have the total dimension of wellness. All right, next we have vocational. I kept vocational as the same board as physical health because right now I happen to be an optician, so I'm in the eye care industry, but my dream is to actually be a holistic nutritionist one day. So I doubled that board up as vocational because one day I hope to be able to make people well without medication. I'm a total hippie. My nickname at work is Cilantro, so people come to me. I've got my essential oils for anxiety. I've got holistic cures. If you have a cold, I'm going to put you on Manuka honey and apple cider vinegar. It's just a very important aspect to me of what can I do and contribute in my life to be purposeful and to help others along the way. And there's a famous quote that if you wake up doing something you're passionate about, you'll never work another day in your life. And so for me, that is exactly what holistic nutrition is going to be, and I hope I can impact a lot of lives in that sense one day. So that's purpose through passion, having a career that you're passionate about. Life's valuables are in memories, in my opinion, not in paychecks. So I hate the fact that I work for another person and I work on their schedule. We work all year long for a week-long vacation to spend with people who we love most. I don't think that's what life is about. I think life is about creating memories and building time with those who we love most. So part of the goal career-wise and the inspiration for taking this class is that one day I can have my own schedule and I can create the kind of time to have memories with the people I love most and when I want them, while still impacting lives through my clients. All right, next, financial. That is real money that I glued to the ball there, yes. Those are real dollar bills. I did that as a ball, kind of as an offset piece, because I didn't want it to have a focus. Finances are important, but you'll see it's the smallest area. In my opinion, having your financial base is definitely very important, but it should not be our primary focus in life. We'll get to that in a second. I do believe our primary focus is spirituality, which is why it's in the center. This was a hard section for me when we went through the chapters on financial responsibility. I haven't necessarily been the best. I applied for the credit cards when I was 18 and used them irresponsibly, and I'm working on all of that. So the value that I took out of this course and learning how to be more responsible with my finances, how to save, retirement, money management. Finances are our resources given to us to manage wisely. I believe that. I believe that God gives us a job, God provides the resources, and then we're instructed to use those resources wisely. I can't say that I've necessarily done that. So I learned a lot in this class from that aspect. I've expanded my knowledge on finances. There is a certain, element that is necessary to finances. Obviously, provision. Our dreams are tied into our finances. A lot of times we have these lofty dreams where if we just had more money, we'd be able to accomplish all of our dreams. My personal dream with my finances in the future is to get them in order so I can split my time between Florida and Colorado. I'd like to establish a home in both places so that I can spend my time in both of the spots where my heart is at. And I love this quote from Warren Buffett. He says, "Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago." And that's something that's really cool to think about, how you can make behavior changes in your finances now that not only impact you, but they impact your children, your grandchildren, your entire family, your friends, your family. In my opinion, the only reason I'd want any financial gain is so that I can help others. So that is why it's such a small offset, but so important in our total well-being. If you're in financial hardship, a lot of things in your life can be disorderly and unhappy. So last, definitely not least, spiritual. For me, I have Christian foundation. I have no shame in admitting that I design everything in my life around the example of Christ. I believe that Christ forgave the unforgivable. He helped widows. He helped orphans. He set an example and challenged the system that is nothing but commendable, and set an example of unconditional love that I think our hurting world really, really, really needs. So, not only my upbringing, but what I've chosen to be the only kind of solidarity in my life growing up, when everything else has kind of fallen apart, I always have Christ and my spirituality and my faith as a center, particularly when it comes to mental well-being and that anxiety thing I told you about. That's why I have this verse up here, "Be strong and courageous," Joshua 1:9, "Do not be afraid." The reason I have clock hands around everything is because I believe that every one of these aspects of wellness is definitely in God's timing. So if you're growing and you're trying to rush it and it's not God's timing for you, it's not going to happen. Everything is in God's timing, every opportunity. Everything that we have is an opportunity to grow, to be purposeful, and to live according to how Christ would like us to live. Spirituality is super important. Love this verse, Jeremiah 1:5. It says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart for my holy purpose. I appointed you to be a prophet to the nations." So then we have to all ask ourselves whether you believe that or not. What is my purpose? It's life's ultimate discovery. So living by example, leading by example, more importantly, loving by example. For me, that is Christ's example. And I do believe that to achieve that, to be continually improving on ourselves and really figuring out what our identity is, we have all different points in the journey that we're on. And I believe that it's fundamentally important to have a relationship with the Creator, and that this is how we grow in life. I also am kind of a science geek, so it's a little bit of a conundrum that I am so scientific but also so spiritual. I love this quote from Isaac Newton, who said, "This most beautiful system of the sun, planets, and comets could only proceed from the counsel and dominion of an intelligent and powerful being." So that is a great quote to tie into spirituality. Again, the most central to everything. If that fails, nothing else can stand, in my opinion. Self-actualization, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I thought this was really interesting. He did not believe that somebody could reach the top level of psychological well-being until they were at least 30 years old. And I think that's hilarious. I'm 31 and I still haven't figured it out yet. I'm not there yet. I just wanted to add that in as a little quote from one of the chapters. And also because music is so important to me, tying into my next segment here, another quote from Louis Armstrong, who said, "Musicians don't retire, they stop when there is no more music in them." So that's a great quote there. Nicholas Sparks from the last song, "Life, much like a song, in the beginning there's a mystery, in the end there's a confirmation, in the middle there's the emotion that resides to make the whole thing worthwhile." So, if you couldn't tell, I'm kind of an outdoor, nature-loving, hippie musician. And as the last part of this segment, I just wanted to tie in something to total health and wellness. To me, again, one of the aspects of mental well-being is having outlets like this. So I wanted to play just a small clip, which I haven't really rehearsed, so forgive me, of a song that I think really draws to my perspective of total wellness, which to me is, again, spirituality. Spirituality is in check, everything else is as well. And I just want to play a small clip of that song for you, and then we'll wrap this up. That's just a little clip of a song that's very important to me. What I take out of this course is just a second to pause, because none of us are done growing. I don't care if you're 2 or you're 82, we're just not at that point where we're done growing. And it helps me realize some of my weaknesses and some of my strengths and some things that I can do to tie into total health and wellness. And I don't know, I was just excited to take this course. Really appreciate the information that I've learned. It's been very valuable, and it gives me a good, clear direction of things that I need to improve on. So the most important thing, in my opinion, is just recognizing that we all need improvement, and we all have areas where we could be healthier. Thank you.